Tēnā tata katoa. Whai, you guys are quick. Quick as. Tēnā koe, brother mans. If you ever walk the mile in my shoes, you see what I'm going through. Yeah. Kia ora, Gio. Yeah. Yeah. Kia ora rā tātou katoa. Katoa. Oh, yeah. Red, I can't see your thingy, but I think he's going live. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I see your message, Ren. I think he's supposed to go live so that he can unlock it, and then he'll be able to jump in the live. Hello. Hello there. Eight is 8, okay. Oh, settle down. Oh, holy heck. Just get to tapping, all right? Kia ora mai tātou, tēnā tātou katoa. Our guest tonight, our manuhiri tonight, is the bro Mark Apuatu, cool as content creator. Tēnā koe Shannon. Love his mahi, love his acting, love his waiata. Yeah, just seems pretty cool that we're able to tap into someone who's doing a whole lot of stuff. No threats. And in fact, Ren, you mind getting rid of that threats guy? My man, Wikato, my man, Pucks, I absolutely loved your response. That guy who told you didn't know anything. Can I get him to talk the whole time in his Jake the Muss voice? I must say, I was pleasantly impressed. You can see that I'm going through, yeah. Okay, this one. Kia ora tātou, kei te pēhea tātou. I'm excited for this interview. I'm excited to have a bit of a kata of that manifests. But let's just settle down on that one. I've been trying to think of doing a waiata before someone comes in, but I'm just trying to think of which one's the right one for the bro. He might get annoyed at me if I keep doing the old Once We're Warriors stuff. Kia ora kohine. Wakaroa. Anyway, we're going to get started. We'll get there, Gio. We'll get there, Gio. Oh, awesome, Mighty Scotsman. Mean brother. Favourite whakatauki. Kia whakangunga koe ki te kai katoa ki te taraonga ki te tūmatakuru. Strengthen yourself by the obstacles in the world. Okay. So, quarter past. Kororo from last night. Now, I had an absolute blast last night with Kui. Markui, I think that was right. Had an absolute blast with her. Despite her and her nervousness, she actually had some really, really cool kororo. And I think that's what I'm really appreciating about these wānanga is that no matter what your taumata is, actually people bring such really awesome insight. So we'll start off. So she said, kia ora Pavi, Paripari, where she's currently residing, she said that it was a hole. But I've never heard this one before. A beautiful hole. Interesting. She even went as far to say that it's the centre of the universe. But obviously, she needs to go to Specsavers. Now, qualifier, just remember, if you want to qualify as your place as the centre of the universe, then you got to live there. Don't go living in Auckland and saying that you're living in the centre of... somewhere else is the centre of the universe. That's phony. She was raised in Te Ao Māori with reo te kāinga and has been chiselling away at learning her reo ever since, much like many of the people that we have interviewed, really. Patua te whakamā. Tēnā koe tai. Tēnā koe kara. Tēnā koe tamale Samoa. Raised in Te Ao Māori with reo te kāinga and has been chiselling away... Oh no, sorry, went there. Patua te whakamā. We always seem to revert back to te reo ingarihi, even when we speak the language and even when our aunties and uncles push us to. We must get over that maunga. Despite your Māoritanga being enough for moko kanohi, you should prepare yourself for not only the Pākehā who come with insulting remarks, but also Māori who do as well. Parkvale? Cut it out. Do you live there? Eki. Let's stop saying kai tā, unless you want to say something is extremely large. Oh, is Parkvale on Havelock? Or did you move? Let's stop saying kai tā, because kai tā means huge. Instead, let's say kai tā moko. Now, I'm not just saying this out of my ass. That came from two kai tā moko. Her dad does not speak te reo Māori, but is a keeper of whakapapa and tikanga of her marae, which reinforces you do not need te reo Māori to have moko kanohi. Ngā mihia te pō. Oh, do you not live in Havelock? Anyway, Parkvale is certainly not. Her whakatauki was, kaua ka te rangi tapu hai taupurua iho, ko te rangi tihore, ko te rangi waruhia, ke marama koe ki te kete o tāne. That's a bit of a mouthful. But it was pretty good. Do not allow a dark cloud to ever restrict you or impinge your vision. Look beyond and you will see the light of tāne. Whoo! Comments are a bit dry because you're driving. Kiwaha. Amehi. It's pretty good. Kupu hou. Huripari. What? Huripari means cyclone or hurricane. Oh, yes. Kelega. Chaulega? Was that it? Chaulega? That's one for you. Okay, are we feeling good? No, that sounds tinny as, holy hell. Did everyone have a good day today? Do I support trans women playing in women's sports? Can we just keep to the kaupapa, bro? If you're not here for te reo Māori, then bugger off. He rawe takura. Rawe. Okay. We're going to start in 3 minutes. But yeah, we just sort of midi out some of the nerves. you know, sometimes it's still a challenge for me to come into these lives as well, to do these, because sometimes, you know, I get a bit nervous. But I can't be as nervous as some of these people that are coming in as well. So I'm thinking about them a lot. Thank you, Ren. Marker from the Mighty Quartet. All right. Tika tau, Pevi. Okay, is the brother there or was he still on his live? Oh, oh, my te mana. Okay. Anika. And tēnā koe, Peter. Is he still on his live? Let's bring him in. Te mana. Tai ki tai. Okay, can someone like message Marker? Maybe I need to message the bro. Falling deep inside. He is live. Okay, I need to tell the bro.
Because the water's so cold, not many people go.
Can someone go into Marker's live and tell him to get off and come into my one? Kia ora, Rocky. He is still live. He's having a good old gas bag over there. Well, see, Marco hasn't gone live before, so he just needed to just get his feet wet, I suppose. Unless, could I do a host thing? I've never done a host thing. How to go po te pōnei patapatai with Marka Poatu. But I think I need someone to go in there and tell him to come over here. Okay, so it's just a waiting game, I suppose. Ngā mihi atu ki a koe, Rocky. Kia ora rā tātou. He's coming. Ka pai. Thank you, guys. Add him in. Thank you, Iwama. Oh, here we go. Te wara. Yeah. I feel like Ellen, you know, like having a bit of music as you come in. Except I have no employees to abuse. Yeah. Yeah, complete. Now we're all good, brother. We're about 2 minutes late, so yes, I accept your apology. How you go, my bro? Yeah, me, my bro. Well, I'm looking forward to this interview. Have you wiggled into one of these before? Oh, oh, weird. They can't hear anything. I can hear you. I can hear you well. Can you guys hear me, or you just can't hear Marco? Racist. I can hear you. Can't hear Marco. Oh, maybe if you just like press the mute and then unmute, I can hear you loud and clear. Te Oh wait. Okay. Let's try something else. Can you just get out and then come back in? See if that works. Oh, okay. He's gonna come back on. Painone? E te iwi? Oh, we try the camera. Oh, can you try the camera? Camera on and camera off. It's so weird. I can hear you and no one else can. Or you guys are just mucking us around. Do you want to try come back on again? And then unmute.
Hello. No.
Oh,
I'm muted again.
ah, we're on.
Yay!
Man, I can't have one of these things without coming into a little bit of trouble.
Era me. Oh shit. Kia ora. Kia ora.
Yeah, okay, cool. Kua taunga piro piro and I was feeling a little bit shit.
Mate, dude, I'm a rookie at this. Oh man, how am I?
Well, one of you guys was trying to tell me about how to make this all better, but I'm like, don't tell me that. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's not go there. E hoa. Nā reira, ka whakatūwhira tēnei wānanga kia tātou, kia whakaaio, kia whakataunga piro piro, kia whakawātea tēnei wānanga kia tātou. He pai mau te mahau te whakatūwhira i tā tātou wānanga?
Wano.
Ki te kore?
Me pehe au te whakatūwhira i tēnei
Mā te karakia.
Ai. I mei noi tātou, whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mākina kina ki uta, kia mātaratara ki tai. E hi ake ana tā tā kura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, si hei Māori ora.
Māori ora. Māori ora ki te whai au, ki te ao mārama tēnā tātou katoa. Tēnā tātou, kora rau mai nei tēnei pō, ki te wānanga, ki te kōrero, ki te matapaki, e rā tumu mo āhuatanga katoa. Ni ka nei ngā mihi ki te hunga, kua tai mai, nā runga i te whakaro, ko te reo, te pūtake, ko te reo, reo matua, o tēnei whenua. Nā reira, e tahuri ake rā ngā whakaro ki a rātou mā, kua taupai atu rā ki tua o te wharau, rātou mā, ko takahia rā te ararau amokura, koutou mā, ko pā heke heke o koutou waiwai te arataka tū o te ora ki te ara tāpokopoko o tāwhaki o mate. Haere mātua atu rā ki te kāpuni puritanga o ngā mātua. E haere, e oki. Tātou mā, ngā kanohi ora, ko tai mai nei, ki tēnei kōrero, mauri ora kia tātou. Te hunga mā taki, kia ora rā. I'll just set some sort of house rules, e hoa, just because sometimes we kind of just... We get some hair
Yeah, why not?
now and again.
Yeah.
So what we try to aim for, e hoa, is we want our interviewees to feel as comfortable and as free to talk about whatever their whakaaro is on whatever kaupapa I'm about to ask you. And this just enables us to... not feel restricted. So if your kōrero is against the grain, he painua. All good. Because we've had that sort of kōrero throughout these lives as well. And we can agree to disagree. So one of the whakatau ki, ko tō piki amo kura no, ko tōku piki amo kura nōku. Agree to disagree. And also... Keep our mods happy. You don't need to keep me happy, but keep them happy. If you want to be an egg, then they'll flick you out.
Boy, I'm an egg in general, bro. But I won't. I'll try not to be that kind of egg.
Okay.
The one that will, make the moderators unhappy. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
General weakness about me, but yes.
Have you got your best quote prepared?
Have I got my best quote prepared? Yeah, kia ora. Yes, I have. I don't know what to.
Whoa. Damn. I thought I knew how good it was, but I didn't know it was that good. That is... Whew. I was like, maybe I should ask for a comp, and then I was like, once I heard that, I was like, nah, I'm out.
Oh, you're going to hit me do some of it as him and swap back and forth to maka to maka. If you like, he's given me the thumbs up too. I saw him the other day at a thing. He goes, hey, I saw that thing that he did with me staying on the beach doing my script. It was pretty funny. Text my number again. I'll give you some more material to do. I was like, oh, God,
I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to do some voice acting, and then pretend that you are Tim. Take the millions of dollars that he will be given. Easy money.
Well, actually, we were working on a TV series last year, and he saw the one that I pranked the first AD on the walkie-talkie by pretending to be him. And he heard it. The next thing is, he goes, brother, got a business proposition for you. Gonna do it. Do it. He goes, I've got all these voiceovers for cartoons and video games and animations and stuff. He goes, I don't like it. I find it tedious. I was like, Matua, I love that work. I love ADR work. I love voiceover work. Please, he goes, hey, I'll ring my agent and go, hey, I got the guy. It sounds just like me. So he hasn't yet, but I'm hoping I get to do, I don't know, Boba Fett for the next EA Battlefront or something.
Yes,
bro. I'd love to, but I'd fully get his blessing first.
True.
Because he finds it so
Beautiful.
tedious. I'm doing him a favor.
Exactly.
And he goes,
exactly.
I go, Matsua, I'll cut you on I'll give you a royalty. He goes, no, you have it. I was like, oh, cool. Thank you.
You don't want the 5% commission.
Yeah, surely.
That was a meihi, e hoa, a meihi. Anyway, kia tō tika atu tātou ki ngā kōrero, ko wai koe, mā wai koe, no hea koe.
Tēnā tātou katoa, ko Māka Pōhatu tōku ingoa, he uria hau no Ngaita Manuhiri no Tūwhare Toa Hoki, no Muriwai tōku pāpā, no Honganui tōku māma, engari tipua ki ai ki te Waipounamu ki Otepoti.
Kia ora.
Cool. He kai whakaari au, I runga I whakata, I a kiriata, I a tā mera hoki, and he mema he kai waiata hau ki te taha o te rōpū takiwha Māori me ki te modern Māori kōtē. Tēnā koutou.
The skills of the man. It's just oozing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. Actually, this you would have probably slapped me, but I wanted to do the intro to the Wellington Paranormal as you came in.
Oh,
It's gone now.
Oh, Jack.
Shit, it's gone now. Cool, e hoa. So,
Oh, sorry, bro.
No. I was a bit like shit all over the place at the moment. I think I'd get like that when
I was building suspense by being late to the party. I started my own party thinking that's how you had to do it.
Pardon e hoa. He all ho. He all ho.
Yeah,
What about a pūrākau about your area?
About the Amahua kuare when it comes to, because I never grew up on my Tamanahiri side or mum's side.
Any from down south?
Well, gee.
Just okay. Anyone you know?
I always loved the one about Hene Pukohurangi and Uenuku. And I know that's as far away from any of my roots, but I think that's a Tuhui one, is it?
Seems to be.
I think.
Hene Pukohurangi.
Yeah. And
what's that one? Do you know? Because I don't.
That before when Uenuku was a mortal man, he was he fell in love with this mysterious woman, and she would only visit him at night, and her only thing was like she was always gone in the morning, and she gave him warning. She says, "Don't ever try to keep me here after sunrise, because you'll never see me again." And he couldn't help it. He loved her so much that he did the thing where he boarded up he filled in all the cracks of the walls of his whare, so that no light could get in. And so when she woke up, sure that it was morning, she goes, "Oh, what time is it?" He goes, "Oh, it's only it's only night. It's still nighttime." And she kept waking up, sure that it was morning, and then she could hear bird song. And when she threw back not the curtain, but whatever was blocking the doorway, she could see that it was Tamanui Te Rā was high in the sky. And so she was like, "I told you, I warned you," and she disappeared. She turned the mist in front of him. And the story goes that he wandered the rest of his life up and down the Motu trying to find her, but he never could. And when he and so then when he died, I think when she came to get him, and there, when you see or something like the misty rain happened, and that's the point where the sun and the rain meet, that Uenuku, his wairua, became the Uenuku, the Aniwaniwa, and that is that meeting of rain and sun is where they get to be together. Pukohurangi, the mist and the rainbow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Neat. And for me, this is a really cool segment, because like, while people think that there's like, they know their korero so well that they expect everyone else to kind of be familiar with it. And and actually just hearing people talk about pūrākau, I really, really enjoy it. And despite it being far removed from your own whakapapa, kei te pai tēnā, as long as we're kind of hearing these stories and we're keeping those stories alive.
Yeah, that was my favorite, and I'm still on a journey to learn some of my own korero, my own whakapapa, really. So
awesome.
Bit of a Ngāti gypsy, this one.
Hey, painoa. Well, what's your mita, and what are some of the key differences that you've noticed in your mita compared with others?
Well, I'd like to. It's interesting, isn't it? Because even though I grew up in Te Waipanamu, I never took on a Kaitahu dialect really, apart from in Mihi Mihi and when in Rome, kind of respecting we go Mihi to on a marae or part of the project, but it was never part of my dialect. I'm not too sure really. I'd like to say that my dialect is Ngāti Porou or the kiwahas and bits and pieces that I know. But my partner is my darling's from Te Aupori and Rarawa, so there's bits of Te Nota creep in there. Really, I just I love eclectic bits of mita here and there, and I think sometimes I want to be a bit of a chameleon, not to the point where I'm gonna offend the local iwi, but I just I love bits and pieces of all the all our different mitas. So I mostly like a generic.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Generic Ngāti Porou-ness without ever having grown up there. Yeah.
No, I hear that kōrero because like with the other interviewees, a lot of them have said that they adapt to the reo wherever they are. So if they go to the north, they might adapt some of their reo, their mita, to suit them. And it's just at the end of the day knowing your audience. And also, you with a partner, you start to take on kiwaha.
Yeah.
Like just in English, you will take on certain kōrero that they speak.
Yeah.
And so it just makes sense that if you're in those spaces to reflect those kōrero.
Yeah. I love I love a lot of Notaisms. I love how they say Norki and Raini.
Yeah.
I love I even love all the I have a special, I don't know, I hate to call it guilty pleasure. I have a real love of a lot of kupu mino.
Yeah.
There's a mana he mana tō te kupu mino because I think of how our tupuna were when they first sort of started to encounter Pākehā, or not only Pākehā but Spanish and Dutch and French, and so we in that eclectic way that I was just saying, we would meti reo here and there and come up, that's the wee fella, kupu mino, like. There's some hard case ones, and I get it.
Nice.
They're play. They really are. I love in the Nota the refe bru big whara and the biggest one when I go I kai koe darling, and my darling go no.
Yeah. No.
I love no engari no.
One amaze balls, a mehi poro.
A mehi poro.
It's always good value, It's always good value to hear like a real decent one. One that we heard last time was Mahu Taruma. You all know what that one is?
Mahu
Taruma.
Mahu Taruma, Carl.
Mushroom. Wow, that one got me.
I love it.
Oh, Mahu Taruma.
Years ago, I heard Arawiti.
Which one?
Arawiti.
What's Arawiti? Oh, out of it.
Out of it. I love them, and I can hear I can hear Papa Timothy and people in my head go, maroke, kohanga reo. But I love them definitely, and it's even down to you hear some kura kids and they just like ngā reo e rua. They pull out these like, oh my god, I te just pirangia ki te punch tana face because they're bitchy. Like, that's far, that's quite te maka, but it cracks me up because I don't know, it's all
I love that one where it goes like, Oraiti tireta. Someone wrote the tireta. Oraiti tireta. We love the pigeon deal. There's a place for it.
Yeah.
I think in Te Reo
Yes.
Māori.
I have a special love for it in my heart, and I know that I'm going to be one of those growers that still talk like that. Nah, nah, whetera. No, yeah, whetera. Yeah.
Kunaf.
Enough there. I like the everyone's familiar with kalega, but I love that Brodo. It's just like, oh, kaleg mat, your leg. Oh, kaleg mat. That's awesome. Oh, kaleg. Kaleg.
Man, we're off to a flying start here.
Mm.
We've had 10 impressions at the highest quality. And just to go on to that korero as well, I love those Nuki, what was the other one? Raini and Kaurua. Oh, Kaurua is like one of my favorite words.
Yeah.
Tēnā Kaurua.
Tēnā Kaurua.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. It's beautiful, eh? I love all the different forms of like engari, rangi.
Yeah. We've got a weird one I've heard in Kaungunu, engere.
Engere?
Yeah, even engere.
Man. Even like, just...
No worry.
Just like, like little hoha sounds like,
Eh.
Like,
I wonder if eta is a Māori word. Does anyone know if eta is a Māori word? Like,
yeah, eta.
Or just from the chip.
Ata as well. Eta.
Well, I'm learning quite a lot.
Yeah.
What's some of your passions? I know we kind of guess a couple, but what are some of the ones? What can you tell us about your passions?
Oh, aside from acting and music and singing, I used to love drawing as a kid. Me and my brother could. I don't draw so much these days, but I've still got a lot of art pads and start some scribbles, and I don't know. You kind of have to be in the zone. But these days, I'm really, really passionate about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the mahi mambo. And there's an uncanny thing for me where the Jiu-Jitsu journey and the Reo Māori journey for me are kind of uncannily side by side. I don't know if anyone else finds that, but in Jiu-Jitsu, it's incredibly hard to get good at. And it's extremely rewarding when you eventually get somewhere. And that's kind of how I felt about how I feel constantly about my Reo Māori journey. They're both life journeys. Even when you get to the end of your days, you still there's be hundreds of the way that Jiu-Jitsu reveals itself, like all the if you ruruku haere te ara reo Māori, they kind of these gems come up, but it's also incredibly rewarding and incredibly hard. Like there's it's scary, but there are a lot of mātanga to help you, and that being a wipeout, there are other people who are like that thing of like. It doesn't matter when you start your journey. Like I started at 39. There's people who start jiu-jitsu in their 60s, and they get to getting their black belt in 89. And the other thing too is that I hear a lot from people that they invest like 15 or 20 years into their black belt, and then when they get their black belt. It's kind of like they think, you would have thought that that's the pinnacle of the journey, but in reality, it's they go, it's kind of like starting again from the start. And you get there and you realize that then you start learning jiu-jitsu. And I don't know how it feels for people like Whaepānea or Papati Moti, but I feel like even, there's no point in your real Māori journey where you know it all.
Yeah.
I guess once you graduate a certain level and get to become a professor or leader of whare wānanga or something like that, there's still so many beautiful nuances and details to the Reo Māori journey as is the Jiu-Jitsu journey, and that's why I think I love them both so much.
I think we need to kind of recognise, that on any journey it can be confronting, but also just recognising that there is physical pain in learning the jiu-jitsu or martial arts and having to confront those, confront your weaknesses, but actually visibly seeing them. But also when you're looking at Te Reo Māori, so right in regards to this is a mental game. It's confronting because there's trauma. And that's a different kind of pain, A different kind of pain to what you at the end of the day, the pain is growth in a way. So that's a really cool comparison, and for us to understand that.
Yeah, the aspect of there's lots of cool stuff about jiu-jitsu. You learn moves and techniques and stuff, but they're almost like they are the kind of the point, but really there's an element of it that's kind of like physical chess, and it's very analytical, and I find myself kind of like there's this, I don't know, when you're searching for I don't know, even when I think about I think one of the hardest things still for me is learning how to use hangu, and those are that stuff kind of feels like constantly. It seems very simple, but sometimes to use them messes with my head so much, and I can feel it in my body. And I was like, man, that's some purple belt level. Oh, man, I'm still mucking around down here with the E's and keys, and I don't know how to. The hangus is wow. So much. It's confronting but rewarding, and the addressing there's no hiding. It's jiu-jitsu is a very intimate sport where you're just wrestling and sweating with another grown adult human, and there's so much truth gets revealed about yourself, what you lean on a lot, what your tells are, and you kind of know so much about the other person without sometimes even getting to know their name. I've been going to the same club for about almost 2 years. I still don't know people's names, but I know what it feels like to roll with them constantly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if that's there's some if that applies to when you meet people that you get comfortable having a cordial with. That's that's my passion. Jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
That's mean, bro. And you must at some point in your jiu-jitsu journey and in your real journey be thinking, oh yeah, shit, I'm getting somewhere. Cool. I've elevated to the blue belt, or I've elevated to the brown belt. And then you just one of those such basic things, eh? They just kick your ass.
Yeah.
And it is those E's and keys, because it's not to be sort of overlooked, and how actually difficult such a simple thing is.
Yeah.
E's and keys can be not easy to get all the time, because if it's not at the top of your dome and how to use it well all the time, no doubt you're going to make mistakes. And I suppose if you have the capacity to be able to reflect and think, oh yeah, actually, I made that mistake. Maybe next time I'm going to try and fix it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the tried and true simplest foundational stuff in jiu-jitsu and Māori is, they talk about it constantly when you go to the mat and you try out some stuff, and the higher belt looks at you and goes, "Oh, you trying out some of those Instagram moves, eh, boy?" It's like, yeah. It's like, that shit doesn't work, eh? Nah, I wanted
We'll
to
see.
see if it would. And that's like, I love all the beautiful, wonderful kiwaha and different sentence structures, and the more like elegant ways of saying, like, really gassing people up. We don't often talk about ourselves. There's that whole kare te kumara, but we will kumara up other people to the days, and all of those beautiful ways of saying that. I won't say that those are flashy Instagram moves, but every now and then when I hear just a sexy sense of like, I'm gonna put that in my save that kōrero.
Bank that.
And then you get in the same room with people doing their pepeha, and then they, you use that too. Now there's 5 people saying the same. Oh, damn.
Tongi te titi.
Yeah. Oh, you went to Kurareo Wai Maramala. Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, I missed that one. Yeah.
Brother, tell us, what has your real journey been like, from its inception to where you are now?
Well, I could talk with Mama. My Yahoo, he whānau mai pepi ana, e kōrero Māori ana tuku māma ki au. Engari nā wai, ka huri au ki te, ko whā, ko pakake, and then Sesame Street was my answer. Yeah, Mum said that she used to speak Māori to me every day as a baby, and I got used to that mode, and then I started watching Sesame Street on TV, apparently, and then that was kind of my undoing, so they parked it for a bit. But it was always around me and my brother by like osmosis, because my parents were, we were kind of like the seen and not heard kids at Hui, and they're all the Hui and the wānanga that my parents went to, and so it was around us. But my parents were university lecturers at Otago Uni, and I don't know. Sometimes I think that some of these people might have thought, these Maka and Polder, these prodigal sons of these 2 Māori lecturers, they must speak Māori all day, every day. Aonoa, pōnoa. The reality was, I think that Mum and Dad, sometimes I think they felt like they were so burnt out from teaching thousands of students Māori every day at uni that they would come home and just sort of bark at stuff in English. Just because it was, just because, I don't know, maybe the fatigue of it. But yeah, we understood it without necessarily speaking it every day. And through doing kapahaka at high school and things. So really, I think when I turned 17, I wanted to pick that journey back up. Kind of periodically through my life. And, I just sort of, I knew when I was a teenager and like, do you know what I mean? Like through osmosis, you're kind of sitting there and you listen to your dad speak on the pipeline and all the kaumātua speaking, and like, I wouldn't dare try and attempt those kōrero myself, but I'm sitting there cracking up at how dry these jokes are. And I'm like, that's funny. And then trying to explain it to my Pākehā mate, going, what are they saying? And go,
yes.
He said,
it's gone now.
so his paddock is here, and then when he crossed the You know what? It doesn't really translate, eh? It's
I
kind
know
of
what
like,
you mean, bro.
yeah,
I know what they're feeling is, to sit there and you're like, oh well, the corridor's actually gone, and you
yeah,
kind of had to be in the moment to kind of to feel it. I
yeah,
mean, we all get that, but just that you do know what's going on, despite not actually knowing the whole, all the structure, all the
nah,
corridor.
yeah,
You know, I know that like my mum can sit on the not on the pipe, but she can sit um well actually on the pipe and hear that corridor and keep up with what's going on, despite her not being able to speak much Te Reo Māori.
yeah,
So I think it's a real thing. Just being around it so much that you kind of hear those intricacies, those the diction, te mea te mea.
yeah, yeah. But we just didn't mechanically, or not
Mm,
mechanically. That's the wrong word. But do you know what I mean? We didn't vocalize our So that's still a thing where, like I said, it's a life journey and working on it to this day. And I
mm.
still, yeah, I still feel the fear. I feel the fear on this live. It was just kind of, you know.
Kei te pai hoa, I'm kind of getting used to the fear and how to
Mm,
miri that fear as well. So I mean, we're both on the journey in terms of me chiseling this in terms of the interview thing, but also you guys being coming into these space and actually being quite vulnerable to share these these mataku feelings, these feelings of my anxiety, anipa.
mm,
And I get that. And so my aroha to you guys, and actually the fact that you guys are willing to come into these spaces to share your perspectives is actually a brave thing. So yeah, me atu ana.
yeah, no,
It was. So just on that, I suppose, what about, have you faced shame in the feeling of failure?
oh, yeah, constantly,
Mm,
like constantly. I can, oh man, There- there's still oh man. Okay, there's this one moment that lives in me, in my mind. There's quite a few moments that live like rent free in my mind, and and I do all the self talk. It's like, hey man, you were young at the time. But my first ever gig acting was for a Māori theatre group called Takirua in Wellington, and we were doing this children's show called Taku Waimarie, right? And we did it all over the Motu, all over the North Island, and we finally came to Huani Waititi,
mm,
to the kura there, and there was the show part, and then there was the kind of a workshop afterwards where um, some of the tauira would ask questions and stuff like that. But everyone was a bit whakamā. And so 17-year-old Marco went, oh, ko e whakamā. Ko e whakamā ki te kōrero Māori. And then I knew as soon as I said that, I died. And like all of these tauira, they're probably like, I don't know, they're all probably wānanga teachers and stuff. They probably don't remember, but I do. I do. And one of the matua kind of like looked down at the floor and go, okay, mihi ana, koe te tungan. I was like, wow, wow, and that haunted me. I mean, my darling has a similar moment where she talks about when she was learning and she wanted to say he tamariki o, but she said he tamariki koe, and that was my he tamariki koe moment. I said koe whaka. What I meant to say was koe whakamā ki te kōrero ki te whiu pātai, but my tongue went koe whakamā ki te kōrero Māori in Wani Waititi. That was one of my. It still lives with me, and I don't know why. I was like, I was 17. No one remembers, but you will remember in the dark corners of your mind, Maka,
mm.
for the rest of your life. That you try to tell
Good
Tony the
to
Māori at Wani Waititi to not feel ashamed to speak Māori. I know what I mean, but it was unfortunately too late by then.
yeah.
But there's a lot of other moments. I can't quite readily recall.
Mm.
Um, The cool thing is, though, if I'm going back to the, if I can take it back to the jiu-jitsu thing, is like, I like how they think it jits because they were like, don't think of it as losing or failure. There's, it's just, there's no win or lose. It's just learn and learn.
Always an opportunity to keep you humble,
Yeah, yeah.
remind you.
no. It'll
So that's
humble
good
you.
to be able to have those little gems to think back. Oh yeah, that was me at one point.
Yeah. Wow, that was, oh man. You know, some of those moments you wish you had a time machine, but hey, it was character building. Here we are, you know.
Here we are now on our journeys.
I'm sorry to all those kura kids that I said that to. That was awkward.
Oh, your kororo's been mean, my bro. This is
you.
really wicked, and also just like hearing the insight of those, you know, sometimes can be quite comedic moments in life where you just look back and think, although a great lesson, also an opportunity to have a good laugh.
Well, I laugh at it now, sort of. No. What can you do?
E hoa. Need to change the title of this kororo a wee bit. Te whakatauki whakatauaki.
Oh, maha ngā whakatauki ngā kiwaha.
Your darling has quite a book.
Hi. Hi. One of my favorites in there, I think, I can't, off the top of my head, is that he iti te mokoroa, something like that. He iti te mokoroa nana te kahikatea I kakati. Something like that. It's a you know, in my mind, that's kind of like there's no thing too small. Like even the mokoro grub can bring down a kahikatea.
Yes.
That's one of my favorites. And you know, what is it? What's the other one? E hia ana koe ki ngā taonga o Tangaroa me māku koe. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the other one. If you want to see the treasures of Tangaroa, you gotta get wet. You know, like no, there's I don't know what that is. Maybe like pull your sleeves up. You know, you want
Get in there. And...
yeah, do the mahi, get the treats kind of thing. I think.
Yep.
I also love this. I love the series on YouTube called How Hato Say. Yeah.
With the Tātere and Mātai.
No, that's maybe. I don't know if they're in the current season, but I think that is. Are you talking about
the old ones? The old people?
No, that's Taringa Huruhuru. That's also awesome. I love that too. How Hato Say is a web series of Kiwaha Ngāti Bro. And they're great. And I love my favorite one on there is Haere Maro Atu Huki Māku Mai. Sorry, Whānau, is this one of those
graphic?
Is this one of those mediated egg things that gets me kicked off the line?
No, just keep it into their Māori and you're safe.
Yeah.
So that's a good part, right? Me pēhea koe e whakatina nā I ngā whakatauki. So just go on to that first one, which was the iti mokoroa, nā te kahi katoa I kakati. Love it.
Whakatina nā hia e au I roto I taku whakangungu mahi mamo jiu-jitsu. That thing of incremental... Chipping away. Yeah. Just like... I think about it if I've missed a few days here and there, or... I don't know, like every time you show up... Currently, my shoulder's a bit... mamae, and so I go just go there, take your notebook, sit there and observe. Just like that's what I think. There's like little because it's a grind for the rest of your life, and not a I wish there was I am incredibly lazy. Sometimes I think, when the first Matrix come out and they could just download all of that that stuff instead of
Yeah,
the back of their head. Oh, yeah. All of it, like, oh, I know. Yeah, I know jujitsu. But yeah, that's I think the whole point of it. So that's what I think of that whakatauki. That's how I embody that in my practice.
Lots of things are mountains, eh? Lots of things are huge mountains to overcome, and it's just about like the one step, and then the next step, and then the next step. So I mean, not hard, I suppose, to whakatinana hia taua mea.
Yeah, but also I want to apply that to my reo Māori as well. Then my darling and I do. We have a practice where we. She lives on the motu on Waiheke, and I live in the city, and so we FaceTime each other before we go to. That's our our ritual. FaceTime each other and fill in each other about our day and say Paul Māori at the end of the night. And that,
beautiful.
But yeah, in those as much as we can, those little FaceTime things we try to keep that practice up. So yeah, but yeah,
they are little.
It's a mokoro, chipping away.
Yeah. Pai. So look, you put Hare Maro Atu Hoki Maku Mai. We'll go with another kiwa.
Another favourite Ngāti Whakaroki waha of mine is from that series here, Hatose is Haramai koe, haramai nā koe, what is it? Oh, haramai konei he pēhu. Did you come here just to be a fence post? It means like seeing somebody standing around doing jack. And we're like, wow, get you. Haramai konei pēhu. Like this one just gave me this sticker. I think for myself is it's not just being on the marae, it's just kind of like just being at your mate's house and helping do the dishes, or the darling's house and helping do the dishes, making the bed. Just don't be a fence post, people. Just don't be a pehu. Be a koha, not a hoha,
Be a koha, not a hoha. Kia ora. Hey, what's one of the cooking that you've just learnt? And if you can put it in the food.
Oh man. Hauto. Hauto. Yeah. It's not that big fellow on Game of Thrones. Hauto. I just learned that I was
How do you spell it?
Hauto. And the mina the mouthful of that is hautoto. Hautoto is a drawer, but hautoto is a set of drawers, like a chest of drawers, like like in your bedroom. The drawer singular is the thing that you pull out and get your socks and undies out of, but the whole chest of drawers is a hautoto. I don't know that. Oh. That was a new,
Tall boy.
I find myself on Te Aka the most, looking up the names of domestic things that I want to, Kate, in the darling, what's in the top drawer?
The hauto.
Yeah, hauto. I'm pretty sure hauto. Hautoto's the whole chest of drawers, but yeah.
Oh, right. So it's the top drawer.
I think the hotor is just a singular drawer,
Yeah.
but the hototo is the whole set of drawers. So you look at like your bedroom drawers, like the uh, what do you call them? You know, um, uh, where you keep your socks and undies. That whole thing is a hototo, but each of the separate compartments is a hotor.
Got it.
Buzz me
Absolutely
out.
cool. And it's iwi. We don't have to have extravagant kupu. Uh, just they have that extravagant kupu, but just stuff that we can apply on that basis, because that's a really good one. That's just right there that you probably didn't know before. That's in your house. So tēnā koe, tēnā kupu.
Yeah.
Who are some reo Māori iho pūmanawa?
Oh,
Who are some of your real idols?
oh, um, I wish I never got to meet Te Wharehuia, but the way my darling speaks so highly of him, and I saw we watched his on one found his story about him on one of the Wakahuia, one of those ones on old YouTube now, and being at Kurereo Waimarama, and we had to learn the Te Wharehuia's waiata that Timothy wrote about him, and I go, man, yeah, that all the teachings and and all the mātauranga that I just see it in my darling, and the way that she I idolize this person, and I never got to meet them. Also, Papa Timothy, and Pania and Leon. They're just these amazing. I don't know. Do you watch Naruto, Ehua?
No, I don't. I will get there one day in life.
Well, there are these these amazing teachers of they're what do they call them, all these different rangatira of these villages, but yeah, I think of them, they're like the Papa Timothy. Well, in jiu-jitsu terms, Papa Timothy was the red belt, if you will, the Grandmaster Helio Gracie of the Reo Māori world. Then you've got
Helio Gracie.
Yeah. Then you've got Pania and Leon and them as the respective coral belts and black belts of this world. So yeah. Also to
yes. What's a reo hapa or some reo hapa that grinds your gears?
Te Reo. Te Reo. Yeah. It just makes me think of some kind of car. You drive the Mitsubishi Te Reo today. I don't know. And then there's degrees of I feel aroha for this person. They're trying to just rage to just those petty TikToks that you and I both make, calling out these, these kaikiri out there, the Te Reo. Shove Te Reo. I was like, what's Te Reo? That sounds like a really delicious sort of mayonnaise dressing or something. Te Reo. I like
exotic.
I like my hamburgers with extra Te Reo on the side. I don't know.
Who are you paying?
Sorry.
Oh, someone says Ruapehu, and just wondering who they're paying.
Ruapai.
I really actually I love the call that you have, especially there was one that you were talking about the stupidity of reverse racism,
Oh, man.
but just all of that, yeah. And I mean, look, it's taumaha. I mean, I wouldn't say taumaha, but sometimes it gets a bit hoha just having to educate people who just don't want to be educated. We just come in there for the purpose of just having a poke of the bear. Neki. But yeah, I really love to see that sort of stuff and someone else's perspective on stuff. But also your kōrero about, interpersonal, macro, micro racism and people's understanding of it. And people ride so much on these mistruths. And I don't know why they continue to do it. I mean, it maybe just works in their favor, or just they know they're wrong, but they just don't care.
Yeah, or you've never had. That's the thing about privilege, is you've never had to learn. There's a kind of mana in your ignorance, and being educated is to the contrary, it feels like I don't know, it's so deeply ingrained in these people's identity that it feels like if you're trying to take away their part of their identity or their belief system, their ideology, that I get it, that's scary. And I'm going, but it's not true, it feels like you're desperately trying to hold on to something. Just like, look, and I don't get it either, that we seem to be celebrated on a global scale, and that it feels like we are here, but it just is kind of token to impress people overseas. Going, we love them, we love the Maoris, we love them, we love the haka, we love everything about them, and then behind closed doors go, oh, jeez, I hate those Maoris. You love us, they love us when they're making money from us, or when it's the prestige from us. But then when it comes down to it, they don't want us to be in control, and clearly they don't want us to be in co-governance either. It's co-governance. It's not. We're not trying to take over.
I mean, it's we're talking about bare minimum is co-governance.
Yeah. Wow.
And actually, we don't want you there. But yeah,
hey, we just.
we got another quarter.
Anyway, what was the question?
Yes, I've completely forgotten what the question was, but just to acknowledge that the kōrero that you do have, and on that kōrero, that being unequivocally Māori does not mean that we're trying to take away from anyone else.
No, not at all. And
but okay, this was the next part. If you were on the Marae Aotea, you've got free reign to talk about anything you like. What would you talk about?
Wow. Wow. I want to say jujitsu. I'd actually, I'd try and craft something in there and use all the. I'd try and do that. I'd try and appeal my case to the Komatsu Maga, this journey here. It's like this journey, I'm trying. Hey, I guess I'd talk about that.
Sure. If that's what you're going to talk about, cool.
Yeah.
It's neat, brother.
Yeah. I'd try and use examples of kōrero, like, how I don't know, Tane wrestled apart his parents, be reaching, and then from there, that's the timatanga, The mahi mamo. I don't know. Yeah, I that's the only thing
Nah,
that
all good.
comes to mind, really.
How you feeling at the moment? Ko tau?
Fine.
Ko
Yeah.
aua
Fine.
pai noa. We're gonna start talking about some of these kōrero that we sort of see floating around on TikTok. So we've just kind of touched a little bit on it in regards to our stuff about educating the boardheads. Let's look at some other things. So a lot of the people that are here have heard a lot of these part-time, but it's really interesting to hear the different perspectives.
Mm.
So should wahine be allowed to speak on the marae?
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Should it be compulsory?
In kura or everywhere?
Kura. All of kura. Oh,
Yeah.
you mean like
Yeah.
all kura,
Yes.
and in schools as well.
Yes. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would love to see that. I wish we had that.
Mm.
It's kind of like bringing it back to jiu-jitsu again. I wish when I saw that weird thing back when I was 17 and thought, I don't want to do that. I wish I did it back then. I would be pretty decent by now. But also, yeah, I wish that. We didn't even have we didn't even have Māori class at Otago Boys. It wasn't even an optional, like a you couldn't do Māori at OBs or kapahaka either. The closest we got to Māori culture at Otago Boys High School was doing the school haka, and for the rugby. Yeah, it was one of those old boys kind of, what do they call it? Not a private school, but one of those old school kind of Pākehā kind of schools that focus mainly on rugby and not so much on the arts or Māoris here. I wish that it was compulsory back then. You could see very clearly why it wasn't, and why it still isn't. So yes, definitely wahine speak on the marae, and reo compulsory in schools ira kati.
Now, we've heard this kōrero over and over again.
Mm.
Do you need te reo Māori to wear moko kanohi?
I think having that taonga, even though it's not a prerequisite, it is our birthright. Yes, but I would love and hope in my heart that it would inspire people to pursue this journey, whether you have moko kanohi or not. But having that is, that's your hoa haere. As you. I mean, I've got lots of different tā and different interpretations of tattoos all over my body, except for my kanohi, and I will one day. But my understanding is even these ones on my arms and my back and my chest are those are part of pūrākau that I'll grow into over my lifetime, and that will still be a part of me when I get put into the earth. So yeah, I don't feel like you have to, but my sincere hope is that it inspires people to at least go and begin that journey and take that with you as you grow.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
It's a better way to put it than then probably where my whakaaro was at.
Yeah.
But we learn stuff, and I think that's I could take learnings from that and how you delivered that.
I mean, I sincerely want people to have that and have the ability to kōrero. Believe me, if it was a thing like the Matrix that you got tāna, your moko kauai or moko kanohe and bomb instantly matanga. Yeah, I would love that. But yeah, I grew up with that, and like my parents and like their grandparents, is that's a thing that you earned, and now this current reanga make me, it's I've changed my views slightly, but it's still like don't get me wrong, I don't believe you have to, but I think it would be a massive shame if you chose not to. And maybe it's enough just to wear this taonga for you, kei a koe. But it is such a symbol of resilience and growth and just the this resurgence of this powerful taonga. I mean, but I always wrestle with the fact that I'm an actor and that this part of my is a big part of my career, and the big massive part of me that wants to go, nah, fuck this industry, I'm gonna and I just know that well, it wouldn't be an end of my career, but it would definitely sort of, because we know how the industry kind of moves and feels and things that limit me in ways, which is a shame.
No, I get you. I was also an actor at one point in my life.
Yeah.
But I didn't reach quite the heights as what you've reached, Ehua.
Oh, no,
and that was a consideration. It was a consideration. Like, do I just throw this in? And well, yes, I have. And I mean, there is the fear or the maybe even expectation that you're going to be typecast into the savage Maori. So I mean, at the end of the day, this is your career, this is your livelihood, and that's something that
Well, yeah, but if I gave it up tomorrow, bomb, I'll be on there. I'll be on the. I'll be right there. And to me, because of if I was to wear this taonga, then it would further motivate me to, knuckle down on my reo Māori journey. But that's me. And if I see people wearing it, I want to be like, there's a natural thing there. You just want to bust out into a kōrero, but but also I'm not gonna, I don't get with trying to shame people for their where their reo Māori journey is at and stuff. But still, I still have a deep. I would deep wishing hope in my heart. There's hey man, that's beautiful, and that's the bare minimum is that you wear this taonga and you represent your whānau and your hapu and your tupuna in that way. And if you would, I would hope that it motivates you to carry on your reo Māori journey to complement this beautiful taonga that you have. But that's up to you. That's my whakaaro. Gil.
Okay. This is what someone asked yesterday. So I asked them, I put it out there. Solutions to strengthen the pai or taumata and encourage people to go home.
Gee.
And look, I should say, you can skip past whatever you want to do. But I just thought I'd put that out there.
Wonderful. I can say, that's an awesome part. I wish that I had a whakautu for that. but I don't right now, not off the top of my head. But that's definitely like a go home and wānanga that with my darling kind of pātai.
Mm.
So thank you. I don't have any answers for that off the top of my head.
Something for us to have
yeah.
a little timo on as well. He kai mā te hini ngaro.
Tēnā.
Hey, we've come to the reason why you're here, to be honest, is I want to know what your favourite Warrior line is.
Yeah. There are so many, but my all-time favourite, right, is the start of the film when Jake comes home with all that kaimoana and he sends all the kids outside. And then, you know, and him and Beth are having a young kihi and getting a bit wetter on it. And he, you know, Jake goes to put his wife on the table and she goes, "Not on the table, Jake." And he says, "Why not? I want to feed." It is. That is my favorite fucking line.
Vivid.
Yeah, I love it. The delivery is perfect. He's got this swagger. He's saying, "Why not? I want to feed." It's the best.
Yeah, okay. Rinata has asked if we can get an angry Jake. Got an angry Jake?
How angry is it? Like,
it's keep your mouth shut and your legs open.
Is that one of the? You know, fucking. Oh, sorry. Stop laughing. You're gonna fucking ruin everything, don't you? Fuck you!
Oh shit! It's uncanny.
I also love. What is it? Have you ever seen so much piss? Because they love you, Jakey. Yeah, why not? My lovable chap. Yeah. I'm not very good at doing angry Jake.
This is beautiful as it is.
I like mellow Jake. I do. I feel like lots of people do angry Jake. I like to do mellow Jake.
Your mellow Jake cannot be attained. My one was I had to think about this one, but the guy goes, "Hey Jake, you have a win on the GGs."
Oh yeah. Yes.
Can you do the line?
Yeah. Oh, but hey, I've done that whole scene now on one of my TikToks. Look at the fucking state of you, man. You're a fucking mess. Don't ever speak to me again, you hear? And then he sees us and he goes, "Evening, ladies." Just, ladies, just had a bit of a windfall on the what is that? Just had a bit of a windfall and I thought I'd buy you ladies a drink, especially the one standing here in his bloody party dress. Bartender, 6 milkshakes, please. Easy on the ice cream.
Oh my god! The great thing is,
lady,
I've got all of these recordings
before you turned around. You know what, boy? You fucking too much, all right, boy. Learn to stand on your own 2 feet like your old man. And then it's like, "Is that your old man? Puss off, or an old man." Oh, bro, so I'm gonna quote the movie for days.
Oh no, we can watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh. I was in the shower and I was like, I need to try it out. And I was like, that level. I'll tell you what I've got. I've got a great Gollum.
But
you've got a great.
Go on, please.
We want it. We need it. They stole it from us. Person. We hate them.
Yeah.
And we want it.
Yeah, Bo. Have you ever thought of doing a series of your that's Mickey. Should do you should do your comebacks to those Kai Kitties and Gollum voice, bro. I reckon. this is what your father sounds like. Stupid fat mouse. Always on the door with the barcodes on it. That's wicked, bud. That's wicked. And somebody reckons that if you do Gollum, and you if you do Gollum, there's something if you alter your throat a little bit, but it's pretty much Gollum and something else is Shaggy. Is like
Oh yeah, I got Shaggy too.
Yeah. You got it.
I got Shaggy. Hold on. Give me a little moment.
Yeah. Sure.
Am I gonna be too much? Let's just take a little break, Iti.
Yeah.
Hohonu kōrero.
Yeah.
But
Whakanoa.
okay, we'll just do a bit of Shaggy karaoke. Now I'm feeling the nerves.
No, bro, it's mean. That's mean. Kia ora. Wepua.
Let's just wait for this stuff. Yeah, now I've got
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to do the rap part, because... Okay.
I'm there.
We'll get there, but... This is karaoke, by the way.
Yeah.
You do the Girl My Angel.
Yeah. You're my angel. You're my darling angel. You're peeps you want to be, baby. Shawty, you're my angel. You're my darling angel. You're my friend without a need, baby.
Life is one big party when you're still up. Who's gonna have your back when it's all up? It's all good when you're little, you're pure fun. Can't be a fool, son. What about the long run? Looking back at the hours I mentioned, giving back to me her much attention. She was there through my incarceration. I wanna show the nation my appreciation.
You're my angel, you're my darling angel.
Oh, I was feeling nerves. Now my nerves is
You
gone.
are to me, baby. Shawty, you're my angel. You're my darling angel. You are to me, baby.
You're a queen and I saw you should be treated. Oh, you never get the loving that you needed. Could have left, but I caught on the heated. Begged and I pleaded, mission completed. Mama said I did that's the program. Not the type to mess around with your emotion. But the feeling that I have for you was so strong. Been together so long, been to never be wrong.
You're my angel. You're my darling angel. A wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, tēnā koe hoa, Jam, too much. Me and Jamie with you. Oh, wow. Yeah, right, but it's kind of like the same back of your throat kind of thing as Gollum.
Yeah.
Hey.
From Scooby.
Shaggy from it. Hey, Scoob.
Yeah. Hey, you Scoob.
Not that. Kia ora.
Well, that was a great detour.
Hey, kia ora, man. Thank you. That was awesome.
Any other
From
voices?
Jake to Gollum to Shaggy, hey? Beautiful.
And then, weirdly, I can do Bane.
Ah, yeah.
Can you do Bane?
Nah, mine's Ratchet. When I do
I'll just get a quote.
It kind of reminds me of that Farmer Brown guy. I'm the Maori. I won't talk to you unless you polite to me, Maoris. That's my Bane sucks. I feel like you need to talk into a coffee cup like that.
You kind of got to talk there.
Oh, yeah.
You were merely adopted the dog. I was born in it. I was molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then, it was nothing to me but blinding. And then cracks his
Oh,
back.
yeah. Oh, mate.
Weird Bane.
Tom Hardy, eh? Weird Bane. Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy does jiu-jitsu, hey.
Lawrence Makawari. Can you do a Lawrence Makawari?
Oh. Nah. Because I was gonna.
Oh, what about? Oh yeah. I could do the what's it called? The Urukaya is they're outside Fangorn Forest.
Oh yeah.
Can you do it?
No.
I'm starving. We ain't had nothing but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days. Yeah, we're gonna wheel some meat. What about them? They're fresh. They are not for eating.
Yeah. What about their legs?
What about their legs? I don't need those.
What about their legs? I don't need those.
Back off, scum! Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. I've seen it way too.
Shit, Jim, man.
Literally every one of my videos before we do an interview is the Lord of the Rings, and I just need to just change it up a bit to get the excitement.
Oh,
man.
Now I feel real stink for being late to the mount.
Yo.
I saw.
Okay, we need to just hear this. We need to hear this scene one more time of you as Jake. You ever went on the GG steak?
Look at the fucking say to you, man. Fucking miss. Don't even speak to me again, you hear? Might ruin my night. No, I was laughing too much. Don't ever fucking speak to me again, you hear? Look at the fucking stadium. Look at the fucking stadium, man. You're a fucking mess. Don't ever speak to me again, you hear? Might spoil my night. Hey, on another note, I seen that Matua Tim was like, oh, they didn't even give him the call up for season 3 of The Mandalorian. And he was supposed to be, and he's like, I waited for a call, but I was going to give up. And then there's seen that the whole, I just finished season 3 the other day. It was like, hang on, where's Boba? Yeah.
Renato would like a feed, please.
Hey?
Renato wants the feed scene. Oh,
not on the table, Jake. Why not? I want to feed.
How can that be so good?
Do you know what's weird though? Is that my impression of Matua Tim is actually from being around other comedians, my mate Rob Mokaraka and Cohen Holloway, and like listening to them doing Tim impressions for years. And Cohen's done his Tim's impression in front of Tim, as have I. But my impression of Tim has been Cohen and Rob's impression for years, and I was like, man, they're really good at that. I never thought of like, and then hello, I'm copying them, and then I jump on TikTok and get a bit of traction for doing some of the scenes for it, and I was like, oh, maybe there's a hierarchy. There's the other comedians that have been doing it for a long time, other than myself. But I don't think Cohen and I think they are on TikTok now. Kia ora, ma bros. Oh, I've been mimicking yous all these years. Yep.
Oh well, use it.
Just another one there. Just another. There's I don't know if you've ever seen a film called The Trip. It's about these 2 British comedians, and they kind of sit there and they kind of do they kind of sit across the table. This is the point of these movies. They kind of go on these vacations, and then they talk about different impressions that they know. And one of them, the most famous, they sit across from each other and they talk about how Michael Caine talks. Michael Caine from, and And he's like, no, I don't imagine your Michael Caine is very good, is it? You're Michael Caine talks like that. It's quite nasally, isn't it? And he's like, and the other guy's like, yes, but you know, when Michael Caine was in all the Batman movies, and he spoke with a broken voice, and when he gets very loud and deep. It's kind of like these two actors talking about who's better at doing Michael Caine impressions and shit. And then,
all I can remember from Michael Caine is he had the ruby the size of a mandarin.
Michael
That's a
Caine.
ruby.
Michael Caine. But yeah, kind of like I feel like there's like a I think one year Mooks my mate Rob wanted to do a scene like that. Like the Michael Caine off, but he wanted me and him to do a Tim off. And back then, when I was a baby actor, I don't think my Tim was very good. I also didn't know Tim at all, so I was afraid that it would end up on the internet and that he'd get angry and I'd get cancelled before I even made it as an actor. I was like, I don't want to do that, bro. That sounds real naughty. I don't want to do that. No, we'll be crack up. You know, I'll be like, yeah, look at this. And you'll be like, no, he doesn't sound like you. But my Tim was rubbish back then. I had to let it, you know, marinate and develop like a fine wine.
You were like a Iti Mokoroa.
Yes, Iti Mokoroa Morrison. That chipped away slowly. It chipped away slowly at his Tim impression until it you know, go pua away.
Oh, Iti Mokoroa Morrison. Change your name.
Mokoroa Morrison.
Oh,
yes.
Greg.
Man, this is Langadeko, bro. This is fun ass. Man,
I don't want to go back to the interview now.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, fun. Just got sidetracked there. Me.
Beautiful. I'm gonna do first verse. You could do. Oh no, you better do first verse. I'll do second verse. You know what I'm talking about. Give us a G.
Oh. Okay. Hang on. Oh man, I don't even have my. I don't even have my guitar.
Acapella.
Mm-hmm. Well, I try as hard as I can just to make you understand. 'Cause the world, it won't stop. It keeps going round and round.
I guess the nature of love, and it's always been this way. So here is my heart.
I remember all those yesterdays, understanding your every way. And I know the world never stops. It keeps going round and round. 'Cause that's the nature of love. And it's always been this way. I feel like I need a big bottle of beer like this. So now, my lover, there'll be no other. The stars in the heaven will shine forever. A moment we treasure, your undeniable love. So, darling, here is my heart. So, darling, here is my heart. So, darling, here is my heart. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, too much. Okay. I know these days he likes to go, I remember all those yesterdays. The man.
Settle down, Uncle.
Yeah. It's the yeah. when he pulls it out. Yeah. I love it. You know, he's actually one of the most generous. When you're on set with him, he is to this day, some of the most beautiful, generous acting tips I've ever got was from Matua Tim. He's like one of the. He stays around for your eye lines and stuff. He doesn't need to do that, you know. Usually they'll get an intern or somebody. No, he goes, yeah, wait, I'll stay for your eye line. And he said, he says, focus on the eye that is closest to the camera. If the camera's here, then focus on this eye. Because what we naturally want to do when we're acting off somebody and I'm playing off you, I'm giving you your eye line, is that you want to look into both of their eyes like this, and you know your eyes dart back and forth. It weakens you. Just focus on this eye, and then you hold your gaze, and the camera reads it as you're looking, and that both as in both your scene partner's eyes, but in reality you're just looking at this eye that's closest to the camera frame, and to this day, yeah.
That's magic trick. Is like a lot of the screen acting is much different to sort of on stage acting where everything's quite large. And this is something that I learned as well. Just staying still is power.
Yeah.
It's like moving around too, like, or being fidgety.
Yeah, I think like in moments where the character is unsure in film acting, you sort of like, you know, you do the unsure acting with your eyes, but a lot of it's about stillness and about bringing everything down. Yeah,
Everything sort of amplifies,
Yeah,
amplifies when it's like, you know, the 10-pound thing. Small little movements, big difference. What am I talking about? Acting like I know now.
Oh, you know, bro, you've been around it, far around. You've probably been in it.
Well,
Also everything's shot in HD these days too. So out of the, you know, all your pores and
can't hide those.
Every single blemish, that's you know, that's magnified for the whole world to see. Especially when you get thrown up to a big screen, and you're like, holy heck, there's a oh, wow, that's me. Wow, you're just sort of looking at this weird pimple on your chin, like, wow, makeup couldn't have just drawn over that or something. God, couldn't have CGI'd that out. Oh man, no.
Let's get back on.
Oh my.
No. We'll just ask a couple more questions. I kind of want to know what your greatest lessons that you've learned so far
are. Man, that one of the greatest lessons I've learned is you can't worry about what people think of you, and you can't make everybody happy. Especially, I'm 44 now, and that coming into my 30s, you know, it's, you know, those things started to sit with me. That, you know, I think I'd grown up most of my life as a notorious people pleaser. I had to say yes to things, and very easily got taken advantage of, but would constantly be like, oh, in my 20s, like, oh, you know, people take advantage of me. It's like, well, there's and also worrying that if you said no to people, that they what they might think of me, whereas that later in life it's like, no, setting boundaries is healthy, and you can't dwell on what people think of you. You can't control what people think of you. you should be, there's always consequences for your actions. I mean, in that respect, if you do harmful things, or say you should be sorry, you should be accountable. I'm not saying don't worry about what people think of you, regardless. I'm saying you can't control what people think of you, and you can't make everybody happy. As an entertainer, I love to entertain people and make people happy. So that sounds like a weird thing to do, but you know what I mean? Is that there's always a critic. There's always someone who doesn't. I don't know. They're sitting in the wings, waiting to sort of see you.
Yeah, babe.
Yeah. So it's just like, you just have to get on with it. Just accept that there are people that don't like you, and you're gonna carry on. You can't please everybody. That's the greatest lesson I've learned. Yeah.
That's a really, really cool one. I think we have to probably bear in mind that not only is there there's going to be inherent shame on any journey, because you're just always going to be out of your depth and spaces. But that's such a good point in terms of just like, you've just got to not think about someone else and what their thoughts of it are, and their attempts to try and shame you.
Yeah.
Because that's a real thing, eh? Like, people go in and they're like, oh yeah, let's just chip away at this person, just like make us feel better by like showing that we know more than them about stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the other kind of attached to that is also the, what is it? You can't make. No, I lost it.
It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are your hopes for your reo, and the hopes for Te Reo Māori for everyone in the future?
Well, I would like to as a kaumātua, one day, just sit with my darling and just reo Māori, like anake, like rumaki, in our own space, when we see our mokopuna, that we can. I don't know. I would love to that it became mainstream. Like, imagine going to. I know there's places where you can like pop up cafes and stuff where you can have a cordial, but like, man, imagine going to the supermarket. All the workers, the till workers, they're all bilingual, and you can order your groceries, you can catch an Uber, and you can go to school, do your shopping, do your job interviews. Reo Māori. For my own personal reo journey, I want to get to a point where, I don't know, it's not exactly like you're living off the grid, but I feel like whenever I'm me and my darling, when we live together at some point, and we'll just be that kaumātua kuia that this is a reo Māori whare.
Yeah.
And we'll adjust, but maybe with each other we just rata. I would love that. Yeah.
Cool. Kia rumaki here.
Yeah, rumaki.
Just,
yeah.
Beautiful, e hoa.
Yeah. I would love to see the use of reo Māori one day, as casually as you catch a flight and I mean, you can hear some of it already shifting, but or you catch a flight, or you go order some groceries, or you go hang out at a cafe, and like in places like Europe, how they speak like 4 or 5 languages, and it just be a normal thing, a casual thing that
To flip
everybody
in between
just
those
happens
languages.
to be a bit bilingual,
Mm.
that it's that it's not necessarily just from us. You walk down the street, you go to the Heinemann, the Chinese supermarket, and they or your Uber driver is Arabic, and he's like, oh, tēnā koe, I don't know. Kia Māori te ao. That
Māori
would
te
be an
ao.
amazing dream. I don't know if I would ever see it in my lifetime, but that would be, I imagine a time before, in places like when the colonial settlers were first coming to Kororareka, and the world was reversed, that they had to trade with us, learn Māori, and we took bits of their languages and stuff. But I don't know.
So make Aotearoa ready.
Yes. Yes. It was like being in China and going the little bits of Mandarin to get by, but we had interpreters and translators with us. But I was like, wow, this is a whole country with and thousands of different dialects as well. But I was like, wow, imagine if Aotearoa was like this, and then
Absolutely.
and we weren't tourists in our own country. We were everybody spoke a bit of reo, and everybody spoke. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, well, we've arrived at our last part-time. Favorite cuppa?
Well,
Or top 3. Kia koe te tikata. Or top 10.
Sorry?
Just say who your favorite groups are.
Top
Who
10?
you want.
Oh, yo. Like, Angi 2's up there. I've always loved Te Matarai, Iorihu, but Wakahuia, Ngā Tumanako, all the guns, but then ever since all Portuguese, Mai Tawhiti, Apanui, yeah, oh man.
Lethal these days,
the
eh?
corals from these ones, the hakas from these ones, yeah. What was that?
Oh, just nowadays the competition is lethal, so you think the old ones who have won the competition and they're the known ones, and nowadays it's just these young guns. And I must give a little plug for Weighted Upper, because they were awesome for Kahungunu.
Yeah. How was everything in Heretaunga and Ahuriri? How are you fellas rebuilding?
It's interesting, eh? Like, all of the crew's gone, but I feel bad for, like, now they're going through the recovery plans. So I'm involved in one in particular, and it'd be interesting what you would think if you go through Eskdale. So Eskdale is actually right at the beginning of Napier to Topol. So I've travelled that road a couple of times.
Yeah.
Horrific.
Wow. Oh,
Silt that comes up 5-6 foot for 5 kilometers.
Still,
I mean, it's not gonna make a dent anytime soon.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like that for a long time.
Wow, man. Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna it will make you cry looking at that. It's so bad. But I mean, the majority of the spaces are all good. Still yet to build bridges. Still yet to be able to drive to Te Wairoa. So there've been like chartered flights or little bumblebees from Napier to Te Wairoa.
Wow.
That's going to take. Some of these things are going to be multi-year projects, eh?
Yeah. Man. Ka aroha kia koutou.
And we had a couple of earthquakes this morning. Holy heck.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
5.3, 5.4 in Porangahau. But Porangahau was hit by the cyclone. And, yeah, so they've hit the hardest. And, was with my boy at the time. And I was feeling a little bit nervous when that earthquake came.
Yeah. I bet it was. Every time it kind of rains now, every little shift in the freaking the earth, it kind of puts everybody on edge. But I can imagine none more so than you fellas down there. So, man, my heart goes out to you. Yeah.
We'll be all right. It's just I think that there just needs to probably be better planning for the future because I think 2020, November 2020, was that right? Or 2021? I can't remember. Napier had some problems go on there. They had the flood.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they probably provisioned well enough for another disaster. They just probably think about the recovery of the time and the insurances, that sort of stuff. They probably weren't thinking about like how can we take preventative measures, and maybe they just don't know what they're thinking. But I'm actually not allowed to talk about politics.
Sorry, mediators. Sorry.
Yeah. Might want, I think about the ones up in Gisborne because Gisborne's not hit by 2 cyclones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was lucky because I got out of there. I was up there 1 week, and then literally a couple of days later, after I left to come back to Hastings, cyclone, and then it happened again, another cyclone. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it just comes together, and we got to look after ourselves. We have to look after our whare tapawha, our popo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that your darling will be able to tell us all about that.
Absolutely. Are you gonna get her on one of these lives?
Oh, I'm a bit intimidated. I will endeavour to. Yes, I will overcome that. No, we will.
Are you still awake, darling? Are you on here? Go do it, darling. That's fun.
We will. Yeah. Hua no, I runga I tēnā e hoa, mi atu ana ki a koe. Mō I whakawātea I a koe anō, ko tō busy schedule.
Oh, no ku te whiwhi, no ku te whiwhi.
Yeah, ko tai mai nei, me au kōrero hohonu, e tai kōrero pukukata, kāre kore. Me tō kōrero mō te rongo mamau.
Yeah, tēnā koe.
Yeah, tēnā koe I tō tanga mai I konei. Ki te toha o kōrero kia mātou. Ko te manaka nui ka tāngia ki te rai. Au kōrero.
Yeah, orara. Tēnā koe e hoa.
Yeah. Nā reira, māku noa tā tātou nei wānanga e whakakapi nā runga I te karakia, kia whakawāte atu rā tātou.
Ai. Tērā, ka whakatiki ana, ka whakakuki ngā mihi kua mihi ia. Tēnā koe e te hoa, e atāhua te tūtaki ki a koe I runga I tēnei momotu āhuatanga. A tōna wā ka tūtaki a tinana mai, ka re kore. No reira, ko te haua mihi e rere atu ki a koe. Mau tōno mai ki au, kia ahu mai pēnei, ki te whakawhiti kōrero, ki te whakawhiti whakaro, ngā mea hangareka tēnā rawa atu ki a koe te rangatira. Hangareka miharo katoa tēnei momo hui.
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a little spanner. We've actually met in person.
Oh.
Yeah, we met George Chev in Auckland one time. We went to a gig.
Oh,
Do you know who Renee Garland is?
yeah.
That
Yeah.
was you and I sitting on the same table.
Working. Wow.
Wow.
Tahu koroheke nei te hene ngaro ko ware katoa.
Oh no, I had heard
Ware
of you. You didn't
ware.
really know about me. I'd heard about you and the mahi that you've done, and I was like, oh yeah, choice.
No,
And yeah, I
I
just
te
thought
mau
I'd chuck that
moko
little
koe
gem
i tau
in
i
there.
aua wā?
Yeah.
I te mau moko koe i te rā wā? Kare anō.
Carl. Kua tei me te hawhetopia, kua riro i hau taku mataora. So back then,
Nā wai koe i tā.
nā ani karo harawira.
Yeah, good. Yeah, well done.
She's done most of my body. So
Yeah.
just thought, let's just do the last one for
Keep
now.
it the theme. Yeah. Rau e hoa. O te rā pēr ka tūtaki anō tāu. Me te kaitahi, me te inutahi, awa hoki. Yeah, I te taho o Kamau hoki pēr.
Yeah. I was thinking about what waiata I could play you in, and I was thinking about playing a waiata by a guy called Ocean Wisdom. This guy Ocean Wisdom is a grime singer. Do you know him?
No,
Grime rapper. But I've got a different song already prepared for your exit. And that was something that brought us together, our love, I suppose, our interest for grime music, because I used to live in England for a bit.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that would be a cool one because that's our hononga to Kamau. My hononga through to Kamau is through the music, but also you've got a hononga to Kamau, however.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry. You know, just thinking about it, just another quarter, because I remember you said that you did a little bit of study on the mukta, and you know, being sort of you know, Anzacish Day.
Yeah. I at Toi Whakaari in your third year, you there's a big part of one of the bigger I'm not sure if they still do, but at the time you had to make a 20-minute solo performance, and at the time it was you had to pick a personality from Aotearoa or the Pacific and embody them at the time. And so in second year, I had your Korowa's biography, and it was, you know, 'cause, I've always kind of had this deep wonderment and aroha for the 28th, and I had no idea, and I bought his autobiography, and I was like, wow. I was like, yeah, that's gonna be my solo. It kind of the kind of parameters of the solo kind of changed. Another director came in and they were like, we kind of want to see, instead of, you know, in the previous years someone had just kind of chosen someone like Billy T. James or David Tour, and then they do a 20-minute solo on their life, and you sort of craft all the elements and the lighting and the script and all of that kind of stuff. But this year they would change it slightly, and they said, they want to see they wanted to see us either through a characterization or us relating to the whole assignment was, we want to see you and the work, and whether it's the whole, all the partai around it, all the themes around it are sort of like, how are you relating to the it was strange. So I had to craft a kind of what if character if I'd not become an actor and became a lecturer like my parents, except that I didn't go. It was kind of the whole thing kind of changed about the weight of legacy and about a young nerdy lecturer that kind of followed in his parents' footsteps, but was like quite passionate about talking about the about Te Awatere.
Mm.
And that's how I kind of got. And then he kind of is this unsure about where his life is, and then it kind of oddly had the scene where I got drunk and had a vision that Mukta visited me. That's kind of the only appearance that he had, other than talking about him and his exploits in a kind of third person way. But yeah, the whole kind of thing was kind of about the weight of legacy and trying to live up to something, but a guy that hero worshipped these great figures. I don't know if it worked out, but maybe it was your maybe auntie, sister. From Huya Publishers came to watch it with her partner.
Oh,
yeah, sister.
Yeah.
Kia ora. Yeah, and I was like, wow, yeah, I read about you. Apparently, yeah, she's succumbed to the prison with your mum, and yeah, wow. I kind of wish that I kind of wanted to make the thing where I was going to be Colonel Awatere and talk about what happened to him. Yeah, but it was Redeke. Let's say that.
No, yeah. Okay, quite enough. Cool, awesome, and that's how we kind of connected again.
Yeah,
all these connections. Really appreciate it, one. But yeah, we'll whakakapi this one. It's just been a pleasure to have you here with us.
Oh, Kibala, thank you.
Yeah, and I look forward to that time when we get to meet again in person.
Yeah.
This time I won't be so sly. Yeah, mihi atu ana ki a koe. Nā reira, e te iwi, te hunga mā taki. Ngā mihi atu ana ki a koutou mākua utonu ki enei o ngā kōrero. Māku no tā tātou nei wānanga e whakakapi. Marunga, hei whakawātea i a tātou, hei tukuna te aroha, te manakitanga, me te tūmanako i runga i a tātou. Nā reira, kia karaki a tātou. Amuake, e taku atu te ngā, ko te tokina wai, ko te tokina tūpai whakarongo wānanga. I tuai nei ki tana rākau, i hohau wai ki te tāhuhu o tana whare. Toki nui, toki roa, toki kuru patu, no hea te toki nei e manihi, no hea te toki nei manaha. No te manaha nui a tāne, ko tāne nui a rangi, tāne te waura, tāne mahuta e. He riponga, he awhenga, kia whakaeke tāre watu ki te rangi, kuranga matangi reia, whāno, haramai te toki, haumi e hui e, tā eki.
Yeah. Ngā mihi wala.
Me atu ana, bro.
Yeah. Pō Māori, pō manaha. Hei te wā.
Hei te wā.
Yeah.
You just need to click on that thing up there.
Kia ora wala. Pō Māori. Yeah. There, wow. Oh. I think we're going to fall over. What's the time? For Māori e whānau. Jam up, bro. Miharo. Where are they? 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. What's the time to say? It's the day number to the city. Sun don't shine at all. I don't know what for.
Kei te pēhea tātou i te iwi. Cool kōrero. Real cool kōrero. Yes, if the bro mark is still here, we will reach out to Whaia Hinemoa. The next manuhiri was couldn't be with us, Popo, for a reason. So Popo, we have got Chansey. We've got Chansey coming in, Popo. So we are, privileged to have Chansey with us to share their kōrero about their reo journey. So Chansey, I messaged Chansey and I was like, hey, can you come in to this kōrero? And he's like, FFS, I have been waiting for this blooming call out. And I go, look, I was going to get there. Next week I actually had it all planned out. It's going to be you, this person, and that person. But I've decided to bring it forward. So yes, we are looking forward to having Chansey Popo, and that's going to be our last interview for the week. Until next Tuesday, I only want to do 3. Oh, get to buy pucks. Hey, look, I've just added on to my main page the link that you can go on. I've posted 3 interviews that would have been. Oh shit! Did I get the order wrong? I think I did. I did. Anyway, so the first one was Renata, the second one was Josh, and I posted 2 Te Rangiwhiu Grant Kens as well. So there are 3 videos there for you to have a look at. I will be posting a couple of others just as they come. So yeah, I will post the video Popo just kia whakatairangatia te kōrero Popo. But Chansey says that they've been in the hui pretty much the whole time, just been waiting for their call. So they will be prepared for some of the part-time. I haven't sorted out next week fully, but I know who I want to ask. Yeah, I look forward to it. You know, this whole Creative Native things, I was supposed to be the MC for it, but it didn't work out. But I went for a free trip. And got hold on you. Oh, that's awesome, Vision. Hey, I saw I think maybe your latest video, Vision, and yeah, I just want to send all the aroha to your mama at this time, actually to you as well. I think we forget sometimes to think about the people that are impacted by, our whānau going through this stuff, and so my whakaaro to you as well. I actually wrote out the whole script. I mean, it was myself and Anikaro who were supposed to do it, and we wrote out the whole script. And the producer at the time didn't want it to be so scripted. They kind of wanted it on the fly, but I'm very much like, I needed tuapapa. I needed like a skeleton in order to guide where the kōrero was going. I can't just get up and just blabber. I can blabber here. But if I'm on film, if I'm on TV, like, I need to nail this. Like, I don't even nail my spots. But Anikaro ended up doing it with, I forgot the bro's name. And then they ended up doing it like how we wanted to do it anyway. So I was like, wait the timer. Hey, wait the timer. And they wanted us to only do it in the time window of an hour. And I was like, we need like 4 hours. Heoi o noi te iwi. I was kind of wanting to quicken that up so that I can go for a mini. But I thought I'd just let you guys know what's going on. Yes, some of the stuff has been posted on YouTube. Tēnā koe te prata, tēnā koe hoa. So I posted your one online, Tūterangi View. So it's on the YouTube. Just go onto my link that's on my main page. And then the other one is Chanties on Apopo. Yeah, lots of aroha to everyone, especially to you in your whānau there, Vision, at this time. Nā reira, mi atu ana kia tātou mai te iwi, kia haumaru, kia pai te noho kia puāhuru koto i tō papakainga puta noa, tēnā tātou katoa.